What I'd like to do is to spend a little time in talking about the 15 key elements for a successful career. These are the elements that, if used properly, will help anybody have a successful career, but more importantly, it will help you as a leader to help others to be as good as they can be. Webster. Leadership, the office or position of a leader, capacity to lead, the act or an instance of leading. Martin Luther King said that a leader is a genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. I am a consensus builder in my organization, as Bob knows. However, I can also, when I can't get a consensus, be a benevolent dictator. Harold Geenan said leadership cannot really be taught, it can only be learned. And this is my favorite, I think, John Maxwell. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. To me, that means a leader is someone that's willing to walk the talk. You know, the best that I can summarize leadership is this, and I wish it was not author unknown. I wish I had said it. The character of the leader is the destiny of the pack. And what we all need to remember, as we lead, they will follow. So we better get it right, because if we don't, they're going to be doing the same things. So let me move into these 15 key elements, and I'm going to start off by telling you there's no rocket scientists here. No rocket science here. What I tried to do is to sit down and say to myself over the last 42 years, what have I learned from experience? What have other people told me that have helped me and that I can, in fact, leave with some younger bankers? And it turns out that I've left this with a lot of young people throughout, not just in banking. The first one is make sure your moral and ethical standards are aligned with those of your employer. It's the one thing that we must get right, starting with ourselves. Because when we become leaders, all of those other people are going to look at us as the right way to do it. I like to say this is a little bit, there's a quote, ethics is knowing the difference between what you have a right to do and what is the right thing to do. And it's very important to understand that. It's all about the loopholes to do right rule. And that's one of the first things that I told my kids when they went off to school. Just follow the do right rule. If somebody asks me, how do you know when it's right or when it's not? And my answer was that your heart and your gut will tell you, because it's all the things that your mothers and fathers and grandparents taught you. The second area is work ethics. And you'll notice the sign is good habits and bad habits. You want to be on the good habits side, but it's easy to get on the other side. Winston Churchill said, a pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, and an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. Working hard and doing the best you can do, as often as you can do it, allows you to create good habits. So work hard even when others are not looking. Now this is most appropriate for all of y'all, but as I like to say to anybody that will listen, don't worry about money. And sometimes we have to teach that. Most of you have probably gotten used to that by now. If you look at this quote by Steve Wozniak, co-founder with Steve Jobs of Apple, my goal wasn't to make a ton of money, it was to build good computers. As I like to tell our associates, and that's what good leaders need to do, remind them to work hard. The money will follow. I guarantee it. In my career, I never one time felt like I had to go ask for a raise. And I started my job at $750 a month. And that was $50 more because I had a master's degree. But I loved what I did. And over a period of time, my wife just reminded me that she read my salary in the newspaper, and I've been lying to her for 16 years. The fourth thing is to eliminate the personal pronoun I that I talked about a little bit ago from your vocabulary and replace it with we. Gandhi says, my grandfather once told me that there were two kinds of people, those who do the work and those who take credit. He told me to try to be in the first group. There was much less competition. To me, this is so important because it is all about teamwork. You know, when you talk in terms of I did this or I did that, your other team members hear that. It impacts them. It needs to be about we. We need to all pull on that same rope in the same direction at the same time, and we can accomplish a whole lot of things. And we don't have to tell anybody. They see it. The fifth area is lift others up or lift up others. Andy Rooney said, I've learned that just one person saying to me, you've made my day, makes my day. I think it's so very important to identify your stars and challenge them to be willing to do other things when they are needed. I think it's also very important to identify others that have a lot of potential but have not yet arrived. And to go to those people, if they're a part of you or your group, help develop a plan to really make them better. Sixth is be willing to sacrifice by being flexible. Franklin Roosevelt said, do something. If it works, do more of it. If it doesn't, do something else. Well, I wish I'd have read this a long time ago. It's something we need to teach people that we work with. Be flexible. Number 7, volunteer for the jobs that other people don't want to do. Luke 16:10 says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Another quote says, don't ever question the value of volunteers. Noah's Ark was built by volunteers and the Titanic was built by professionals. Volunteer, get involved, make a difference. You are serving this community that serves us well. This is one of my pet peeves. Never let yourself get caught up in the gossip train. You notice that these are 3 men over here on the gossip side. It's a waste of time, effort, energy, and people get hurt. Henry Ford said, don't find fault, find remedy. Number 9 is to treat others the way you want to be treated. In our organization, we believe the cornerstone to a community bank's success, other than good asset quality, is good quality customer service. And the cornerstone to good QCS, in our opinion, is treat others the way you want to be treated when you are the customer. Number 10, never compromise your principles. Your principles are more important than any asset that you have. Oliver Wendell Holmes said a man is usually more careful of his money than of his principles. Don't let that be you or the people who work with you. Number 11, make a difference. When I came to Simmons 26 years ago, Mr. Lewis Ramsey and Mr. W. Ayers, who was on the Federal Reserve Board at that time, 1987, I think, met with me and they said, you know, Tommy, we have a huge responsibility other than just lending money. It's in the communities we serve. We want to invest and we want to reinvest in those communities. We truly want to make a difference. In this Chinese proverb you've all heard, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man that 2 fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Making a difference in your community. Others see what you're doing and they too want to make a difference. Number 12, never try to make yourself look good at the expense of others. Earlier, we talked about the do-right rule. A good leader takes a little more than his share of the blame and a little less than his share of the credit. If there's one thing that we can learn as leaders, it would be that. Number 13 is just be yourself. Ralph Waldo Emerson says to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Do what you do best. Make it work for others. And mitigate your weaknesses. But just be yourself. Remember that it is what got you your job in the first place, not being someone else. Number 14, get life's priorities in the right order. And this is huge. In my life, I had my priorities right, but I did not have them in the right sequence. For years, it was job, family, and faith. 80% job, 15% family, 5% faith. As a result, on a scale of 1 to 10, my leadership was a 6. My productivity was probably a 7. And my happiness was a 5. After a period of time, I got it right. Faith, family, and job. And from time to time, you have to devote more to one than another. But if you're capable of rebalancing, the results will be leadership 9, productivity 9, happiness 9. The final thing of the 15 is to live every day like it's your last. As I say, if you live every day like it's your last, and it turns out that you're wrong, you will have excelled as a leader, as a parent, as a spouse, and as a friend. And you will be happy. If it turns out that you're right, you will have left an unbelievable legacy. I choose to get up every morning in a good mood, except, Roy, when Arkansas loses, which has been very frequently. Sometimes you get up in a good mood and you have to fake it. But if you do it enough, it will become a part of you. And when you do, and you share it with others, the amazing thing is that it's contagious. As I said earlier, tomorrow, find somebody that works with you or for you or even for somebody else. Find them doing something that's good and compliment them. You just can't imagine how you're going to make their day. And they, in turn, will probably do it for somebody else. Do something good anonymously, not because you have to or for credit. Just do it because it feels good and you want to, and you're going to feel awfully good. Find someone that you don't like. Just don't tell them. Say something nice to them. Find someone who has a real need and help them all for all the right reasons. You know, I said that my journey has many crossroads, and I've asked, is this my last crossroads? And I don't think so. I think that God has lots of things left for me to do. And I think being here is one of those. I will leave you on the back of your sheet. Watch your thoughts. They become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Thank you all